So just go ahead and try that one. Okay, I think most of you are getting close to having these two problems done. And I think most of you did them right. On the first one, so I'm gonna write this on the Zoom. You had 5 for the first one, and many of you had 6 for the second one. Was that easy to do? How many of you felt like that was super easy and I could do it in my head? Okay. Lots of you are saying, yeah, I got that. It wasn't really a problem. So I know, and trust me, I do know that you can all do these things in your head. Okay. What you just did here was algebra. Okay. That is what algebra is. We're going to start very, very simple with algebra. And instead of a box, we could have an x there. X plus 15 equals 20. And you're solving for x. Well, then x equals 5. Okay, same thing. Okay, now, what we're going to lead up to is problems that look like this. Okay, everybody seeing this on their screen right now? Hopefully. Jordan, make sure you're on the Hello Smart screen. Okay, so when we look at this problem, this is a little longer. How many of you feel like you'd be able to solve this right now? Some of you are like, I could maybe try. Okay, I could maybe figure it out. But how many of you are going, I can't do that. That's too confusing. And be honest, raise your hand if you were thinking, I don't think I could do that right now. Okay? And I don't think a whole lot of you could do this yet. In a couple weeks from now, I do think you would be able to do this. And for sure by the end of the year, because we will get to equations that are this long and complicated before the end of the year. Just not yet. Okay? So we are going to start very simple by just solving one-step equations. And the first half of class is only going to be by addition or subtraction. Okay? Understanding that an equation has to have an equal sign. So we've done expressions in the past where it doesn't have an equal sign. Now we're going to look at equations, and equations always have an equal sign. Okay, and to solve them, we're just finding the answer, finding the value of the variable that makes it true. Okay, so we kind of have a goal when we look at equations, and that is to treat it like a scale. We have to stay balanced. Okay, and that scale has to stay balanced at all times. So if you remove something from one side of a scale, you have to do the same thing to the other side. Would you agree with that? In order to keep it balanced, like on a balance scale, if you're looking at the Zoom screen and you're seeing me, if I put my textbook on one hand, isn't the scale going to be balanced right now? No, because the textbook is heavier, so it's weighing it down. Okay? If I want to balance it, I need to put a textbook on my other hand. Or I need to get rid of the textbook so I have nothing and now it's balanced. Okay? So if I look at this first scale, how many squares are equal to one triangle? Type it in the chat. If you know how many squares equals one triangle. Okay, I'm seeing lots and lots of 2s, and you're absolutely right. This triangle right here would have to be replaced with 2 squares in order to keep it balanced. Okay, I could also take 2 squares off of each side of the scale And it would still be balanced, and so one triangle would balance out with two squares. So how about the second one? How many circles are equal to one star? Type that in the chat. How many circles are equal to one star? So far, we're kind of all over the place here. I've had answers of 1, 2, or 3. Well, it can't be all of them. Okay, so let me show you how this works. If I take a circle off of each side of the scale, is it still balanced? If I were to take a circle off of both sides, it's still balanced. Everybody agrees with that? Okay, now if I were to take a star off of each side, what I have left is that one star balances with two circles. So how many circles are equal to one star? It would be 2. Okay, now our goal of solving equations. Okay, the goal, the ultimate goal every time is to isolate the variable. What does isolate mean? Somebody can unmute themselves or you can type in the chat. What does isolate mean? I like some of your answers that are typing in the chat. I should change it to quarantine the variable. We're not really isolating the variable, we're quarantining it. And that means we have to, what? I feel like you guys are all kind of on quarantine right now during the school day, right? You're by yourself. So the whole idea of isolate the variable is we need to get the variable by itself. Okay? We want the variable there, but there can be nothing else by it. And we're going to do that by using what we call inverse operations. Okay, inverse just means doing the opposite. If the equation has adding, we're going to subtract. If the equation has subtraction, we're going to add. Okay, and whatever we do to one side of the equation, we have to do to the other. Okay, and I'll show you what I mean by that, and I'll show you exactly how I expect you to show your work. Okay, so you're going to see problems that look like this. Now, I absolutely know that many of you can look at this problem and you can say, well, the answer is 8. How many would agree? You didn't have to do any work. You did that in your head. You got the answer is 8. Yep, I agree with you. Okay, but I'm going to make you show your work in a certain way, and this is what I would expect to see on your homework. So if you have a notebook in front of you, I want you to write this example down. Okay, you're going to do a couple problems on Hello Smart in a little bit, but I want you to write this one down first. So you have 10 plus n equals 18. Okay, the very first thing we're going to do on every single problem we solve is we're going to draw a line straight down by the equal sign. Those of you that had Mr. Meyer last year, did he make you do this? Maybe. I don't remember if you guys were in school during this time or if you were at home. But everybody's going to draw that line by the equal sign, okay? That's going to keep our two sides of the equation separate. So we have the left-hand side and we have the right-hand side, okay? Now, our goal is to isolate the variable. So I'm going to circle the n. I want to get the n all by itself. Okay, so in your notes, if you're writing this down, you have 10 plus n equals 18. You've drawn the line by the equal sign. You circled the variable. Okay, now we have to get rid of the plus 10. What's the opposite of adding 10? Somebody unmute yourself.
Subtracting.
Subtracting 10. So what I'm going to do is on both sides of that line, you're going to put a minus 10. Okay, so in your notes, on both sides, write minus 10. Just like mine looks. And then draw a line underneath it. Okay, 10 minus 10, those cancel each other out. That was the whole point of that. So we've got the variable by itself. So on the left-hand side of the equation, we just have n. Equals 18 minus 10 is 8. There's our answer. Okay, now I know many of you are still thinking, well, this is dumb. I did that in my head. Why do I have to write that all down? Because remember, eventually we're going to super long equations and you have to learn this process. So trust me that I know what you have to do in 8th grade for math and in 9th grade. And if you learn it correctly in 7th grade, it'll make all of that much easier. Okay? Now, the cool thing about algebra is you can always check your answer, and I'm going to make you check your answer. So this check mark means you're going to check to make sure it works. Okay, and here's how we're going to check it. So I'm going to rewrite the problem. 10 plus n equals 18. Okay, all I did was recopy the problem. Now we've said that n equals 8. So I'm going to cross out the n and put an 8 there. Does it work? What's 10 plus 8? 18, right? So 10 plus 8 is 18, and I can prove that my answer works. So this is how you would check to see that your answer works. This right here is your answer. This is the check. So really in algebra, you should never get a problem wrong because you can always check it. Okay, so let's try another one that I'm going to have you put in your notes. Okay, this time, put p minus 8 equals 9. P minus 8 equals 9. Draw a line by the equal sign. Okay, that's always going to be our first step. We're going to draw that line. And then we're going to circle the letter. The letter is p, that's our variable. We want to get that by itself. So I have to get rid of this minus 8. How do I get rid of a minus 8?
Add 8.
Add 8. So we're going to put plus 8 on each side. That's how you're showing your work. You have to write that down. Okay? And so when we finish it, we have p equals 9 plus 8 is 17. Okay? Your answer is that entire thing, p equals 17. You can't just have the number 17, you have to have the whole thing. Okay. Then we're going to go back and check it to make sure we did it correctly. P minus 8 equals 9, so I'm recopying the problem. Okay, and I'm going to cross off the p and put 17 there. And then even if you needed to grab your calculator just to double check it. 17 minus 8, yep, my calculator tells me that is 9. So I must have done the work correctly. Okay, so it works. Questions there? Okay, let's try another one. This one says m minus 8 equals negative 14. Okay, now we have some negatives involved. That's okay, we can do that. Write down the problem, m minus 8 equals negative 14. Okay, we always start by drawing a line by the equal sign. Okay, and I'm going to circle the letter. Circle the m. How do I get rid of the minus 8?
Plus 8.
Plus 8. So I'm going to write a plus 8 on each side. Okay, on the left-hand side, I just have the M. We have somebody just joining us. Hang on. I want to make sure she gets to the right spot. Jesse, you're just joining us. Please go to Hello Smart, and then you can join in what we're doing here. Okay, so I have M equals, here's where we have to be careful. We have negative 14 plus 8. What's negative 14 plus 8?
Negative 6.
Negative 6, absolutely. Okay, so here's our answer. And then we're just going to double check it to make sure it works. I'm going to rewrite the problem. M minus 8 equals negative 14. I'm going to cross off the M and put a negative 6 in there. Does that work? What is negative 6 minus 8? Okay, if we do that, negative 6, keep, change, change. Negative 6 plus negative 8 is negative 14. So it works. Okay, because both sides are equal, we know it works. Okay, one more together and then you're going to do 2 on your own. Okay, take a look at this one. Somebody tell me what looks different about this problem.
Equal sign on a different side.
Yeah, it kind of looks like it's switched around. The variable's on a different side. It doesn't change what we do though. So if you write this in your notes, 15 equals W plus negative 14. We are still going to start by drawing a line by the equal sign and circling our letter. Okay, we need to get that letter by itself. So I have to get rid of the negative 14. How am I going to cancel out a negative 14? What do you think?
Minus negative 14.
Right, so that looks a little bit silly if I write minus negative 14. What's an easier way to write that? Instead of writing minus negative 14, what could I write?
Plus.
Plus 14. So anytime you see a letter with a negative number next to it, the way we cancel out a negative number is with a positive number. So I'm just going to put plus 14 on both sides. Because negative 14 and positive 14 would cancel each other out. So on the left-hand side, we have 15 plus 14 is 29 equals W. And I know it's written backwards. We're used to seeing W equals 29. This time we have 29 equals W. That's okay. Leave it just like that. Here's our answer. Whoa. Now we're going to go back and check it. So I have 15 equals W plus negative 14. Okay. I'm going to cross off the W and put a 29 there and make sure it works. 29 plus negative 14. They're different signs, so I would subtract. 29 minus 14 is 15. My answer works. Okay. All right, so I want you guys to try this one, and now you have to show all of your work on the Hello Smart screen. Okay. So you guys are going to write on your screen with your finger and show all the work to this problem. So hit start as soon as it allows you to. So when I look at your screen, I should be seeing you draw that line by the equal sign, circling the letter, doing that whole process. First step is draw the line by the equal sign. Travis made her refresh your screen so it catches up to where we are. So Jordan, you can just use your finger and write on the screen. So Kaden, be careful. There's a -4 there, so to cancel that out, you need a +4 on each side. Same with Brooke. Because it's -4, you need a +4 on each side. And once you have your answer, you should still go back and do the check. You should see if it actually works. So Maddie Hikergan, just do a +4, not plus -4, just plus +4. That's how you're going to cancel out the -4. Madison Ronaldi, double check your work. 12 plus 4. Travis, you need to be writing something on your screen. Okay, so I want everybody to pause. I want you to put your Zoom screen side by side with your Hello Smart screen. Okay. I'm going to show you how I would have done this problem. And remember, you guys, I know this is new and you might not have ever shown your work this way before, but it's super important that you learn this process, or algebra in 8th grade is going to be hard. Okay, if you learn this process now, it'll be easier. So you should have gotten the answer as x equals 16. Okay, and here's what it should look like. Everybody should, oops. Hang on, let me put that back. Okay. Whoa. I don't know what's happening here. My screen's going mad. Stop moving. Okay, we're gonna hope that. Okay, so you should have started by drawing a line by the equal sign. That should be your first step every single time we draw that line. Okay, then I'm gonna circle the x. I need to get rid of the -4. In order to get rid of a -4, I need a +4 on each side. Okay, now the whole point of doing that, you guys, is to cross off this -4 and +4. That's now gone. It disappeared. Okay, so we only have what's circled, the x, equals, our equal sign goes right on the line. 12 plus 4 is 16. You do not need to rewrite that anywhere else. Just box it. You're done. Okay, when you check it, you're rewriting the problem. X plus -4 equals 12. Okay, I'm going to replace the x with 16. 16 plus -4 is 12. So it works. If I can get the, there we go. Done. Okay, we're going to try one more as a class, or on your own, I mean. So go ahead and try this one. So click the start button, same process. Make sure you're showing your work all the way through. Draw the line first. Circle the letter. Get rid of the other piece. Make sure that when you have your answer, in this case, the W is on the right-hand side, it should still stay on the right-hand side. And don't change the letter to an X or something like that. It should stay as a W. So Maddie Kramer, circle the letter and get rid of whatever's next to the letter. Zach Nelson, be careful. You're not going to subtract the 8, you're going to add the 8. Travis Mater, you actually need to start doing this. Riley, take a look at the letter that you put on there. It should be a W, and it should be flipped around yet. It should be, the W should be on the right. Okay, so put your screen side by side again. Okay, so I can show you exactly what you should have gotten here. If you did this correctly, you should have drawn a line by the equal sign, circle the W. I need to get rid of the -8. How do we get rid of a -8?
You add 8.
You add 8 with a +8. So on each side of the equation, you should have put +8. Okay? I'm going to cross off the -8 and the +8. On the right-hand side, you should have a W. Everybody should be looking at their Zoom screen and their Hello Smart screen right now, not in their email or anything else. You need to be paying attention here, because some of you got this answer wrong and now you're sidetracked by something else. And I know I can't control that when you're at home, but you guys have to try to focus. Okay, on the left-hand side, I have -3 + 8. -3 + 8 is 5. You don't have to rewrite it. Just circle your answer there. 5 = W. Done. Okay, to check it, you recopy the problem. -3 = W - 8. I'm going to cross out the W and put a 5 there. And 5 - 8 is -3. So I know that my answer worked. Okay, questions there?